Fala, Britão. Tá ouvindo aí, Brito? Áudio tá bom? Esperar o pessoal ir entrando aí. Boa, Brito. Meu garoto. Tá treinando duro aí na quarentena, hein, Britão? Tô vendo, hein? Treinando duro, inclusive na cozinha, né? Fazendo uns pratos. Tipo Masterchef. Boa, pessoal. Boa tarde aí. Esperar um pouquinho pro pessoal ir entrando. Hoje vai ser uma live um pouquinho diferente, que eu vou ter que gastar meu inglês aqui que tá enferrujado. Então vocês me desculpem aí qualquer coisa. Qualquer erro grotesco de inglês, me mandem aí pelo WhatsApp ali para me ajudar. O Joginder, ele é um médico indiano. Ele trabalhou comigo nas Olimpíadas, né, nos Jogos Olímpicos no Rio 2016. A gente trabalhou tanto no judô quanto no wrestling. E a experiência dele é muito mais no wrestling, né? Ele é médico do wrestling lá na Índia, da equipe indiana de wrestling. E ele também trabalha na United World Wrestling, né? Que seria a Federação Internacional de Wrestling, né? De luta olímpica aí pro pessoal que... Aí, ele acabou de entrar aqui, deixa eu ver se ele vai pedir aqui pra entrar, senão eu vou mandar o convite aqui pra ele. Fernandinho, eu te amo. Saudades de você. Entrou aí, ó. Ó o Gregório. Tá. Deixa eu ver se ele... Tô aguardando ele aceitar aqui, ó, o convite. Jordana, como estás? Ele tá aceitando ali, pessoal. Deve ter que... Ixi. Mandei o convite aqui para ele de novo. Aí.
Hello.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Nice to see you after such a long time.
Oh, long time ago.
Yeah,
I,
it's 4 years now, and we didn't realize this time just flies.
yeah, I was just looking the pictures of the
Okay.
Olympic Games.
Uh, uh-huh.
4 years already.
Yeah. It's 4 years. That was year 2016, and now it is 2020. So it's almost
Yeah.
4 years. So, how is
So,
everything?
I can ask. Everything's okay here and there.
Yeah, everything is fine here, but the corona crisis is everywhere, and the cases they are on the rise. And I guess the same story is with the Brazil. The number of cases they are just shooting up, and we are not far behind. We are just following Brazil. So at present we are at number 5, and then maybe I guess by tomorrow we will be having nearly 3 lakhs of cases.
Yeah?
So yeah, but I guess the situation is under control. It is not because in India we are 132 crores of people, so the population is big. So if we compare the population, okay, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs is okay.
India is the number 2 country, just after China.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Oh,
So
so it's
we,
a A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people. I guess 15% of the world population by is Indian. Yeah.
And the work there? I know you work in hospitals. You're a surgeon.
Yeah, so
How's that?
I am working in a few hospitals. One hospital is joint replacement center. The other hospital is where I am treating my sports patients, and then I'm associated with the wrestling team. So, but nowadays, for the last couple of months, there is no training going on anywhere in India. So all the camps they are shut. People they are just training of their own. But so I'm working at three different level. One is at a super specialized level, then at a grassroots level, and then at the level of the where I am providing as a sports physician. So working in the capacity of a surgeon, a sports physician, and then you can also say as a trainer also.
I see you working a lot. And in India now, it's too late, né? It's 1 a.m.,
Yeah, it is 1:30, 1:30
1:30
a.m.
a.m.
Yeah.
So I tell you next day, you don't sleep?
Yeah, I sleep quite late, maybe 4 a.m. in the morning or 4:30 a.m. in the morning. So
And what
I'm
time
used
did
to it.
when you wake up?
Yeah, it is at 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. 9 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I
because
think,
I go to hospital at 10:30 or maybe at 11 a.m. So it's okay with me.
okay, okay.
Uh,
Let me just say a few words in Portuguese to the people who are
okay,
watching,
okay,
okay?
okay, sure, sure. Yeah, yeah, sure.
So they can follow us.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Pessoal, então como eu estava apresentando o Joginder, né? O Joginder Kumar, ele é um ortopedista indiano, médico do esporte. Ele trabalha lá na Índia, né, com a equipe de wrestling. E a gente trabalhou junto nas Olimpíadas do Rio 2016. Então ele estava falando um pouquinho agora aí, né? Não sei se deu para todo mundo entender, né? O inglês dele é melhor do que o meu, com certeza, mas ele falou um pouco rápido e às vezes o áudio, né, não fica tão bom. Mas eu perguntei para ele como é que estava lá, né? Como é que estava essa questão aí do trabalho dele na Índia. Então, assim, ele falou que está deixando um pouco de lado a parte, né, de trabalhar com os atletas, porque não está tendo treino, né? O país está parado igual a gente aqui. E o foco de quem é da área da saúde lá realmente é o atendimento, né, a linha de frente ali para quem está contaminado, né, com o Covid-19. Então a situação é muito semelhante, né, de todos os países, né? Tá todo mundo nessa guerra contra o Covid aí, para a gente poder tentar voltar ao normal, né? Pelo menos próximo do normal, o mais rápido possível, né? Joginder, tell me about your work with the Indian wrestling, the wrestling team.
So my prime work with the Indian wrestling team is that most of the patients, because I'm associated with camp and the place where I belong to, it is the hub of Indian wrestling team. So most of the wrestlers, they belong to this area where I reside. This is my birthplace. So you will find that most of the wrestlers, they are from a particular locality. It is in Haryana and Punjab. It is quite near to Delhi. So a lot of wrestling hubs. They are the small people. They are small centers where people they provide the coaching. So the coaches they are at different levels, at the grassroots level, and you will find a local the traditional wrestling which you see, which is done in a sort of soil and mud. So it is very common in this region. So and almost every village or every locality they have a small hub of wrestlers. So I have patients from all the fields, from the local schools, college, university level, the village level, from the localities, and the wrestlers who are at the national and an international level. So I have people, wrestlers from different age groups, starting from age 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 16, and up to say 30 years. And then I have the population of coaches who have left the traditional wrestling, but they are doing the coaching. So most of the patients they are coming with me with the initial injuries, not the acute injuries. I'm not dealing with so many chronic injuries because they do present with me in the earlier stages. And a lot of the injuries, as you know, in wrestling, they are mostly the shoulders injury, the knee injury, and the lower back. And
Do
if we can,
they in India is the freestyle wrestling or
yeah,
the
they are both the freestyle
both?
yeah, and the Greco-Roman both. But most
Okay.
of the wrestlers, the majority of the wrestlers, they are the freestyle wrestlers.
Freestyle?
So yeah, so if we consider the ratio of the people who are into freestyle wrestling and the Greek-Roman, so I guess most of 60 or 70% of the wrestlers they are from the freestyle, and 30% are from the Greco-Roman. And
Okay.
then they present with me to me in it's say like the knee injuries, acute injuries, and the shoulder injuries, which are
But
more common.
shoulder is the majority of the injuries the shoulder.
In wrestling, it is, of course, it is major. But in our scenario, the knee injuries, they are more common. The twisting injuries, the meniscal injuries, and the ligament injuries, ACL, MCL, PCL injuries, they are more common as compared to the shoulder injuries. But you know, the shoulder injuries, they are not too far behind. The percent is almost similar. But comparatively, the knee injuries, they are more, followed by the shoulders and then the lower back, and then the fingers, ear, and they are those minor injuries. But majority of the injuries, because the knee injuries are such, they hamper the career of the wrestlers. If they sustain an injury, then there is a prolonged, rehabilitation, and they have to go through that. So it is the knee injuries which causes them a lot of setback rather than the finger injuries or the lower back. Because if they have a lower back injuries, then maybe they will get cured in a couple of weeks. But if they have a major meniscal injuries or the ligament injuries, then they are out of competition, out of the tournament, or out of wrestling for a couple of months.
Let me just say em português.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Bom, ele tava, né, eu perguntei para ele como é que é a relação dele lá com o wrestling, né, como que ele trabalha com essa modalidade na Índia. Então ele praticamente a cidade que ele mora é Nova Delhi, né, ele fala que lá é onde fica a maior parte a maior quantidade de atletas de wrestling indianos, né, eles moram em Nova Delhi ou na região próxima ali, mas que o esporte é muito popular no país, toda cidade, todo vilarejo, seja uma cidade maior ou menor, todas as localidades da Índia tem alguma academia, alguma equipe de wrestling. Eles praticam as duas modalidades, tanto a greco-romana quanto o estilo livre. E aí perguntei, né, com relação às lesões, né, o que seria a região do corpo mais frequente, né? Então, como a maioria dos esportes, né, o joelho acaba sendo a articulação mais lesionada, principalmente quando a gente pensa nas lesões, né, ligamentares, lesões de menisco, que muitas vezes precisam de cirurgia, e o atleta vai ter que realmente ficar um tempo afastado do esporte, né, fazendo a reabilitação, fazendo um pós-operatório, mas que tem também, né, muito comum as lesões, né, na lombar, as lombalgias, lesão nos dedos, lesão nas orelhas. Então, assim, é bem semelhante com o wrestling no resto do mundo, né, não vai ter tanta diferença, não. E vamos ver aqui o que mais que ele vai me falar aqui. Vamos perguntando aqui. And what about the surgeries you do?
Surgeries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, most of the surgeries which I'm doing, even yesterday I did ACL reconstruction, anterior cruciate ligament reconstruction of a 24-year wrestler. He's a national level wrestler. And the previous day I did a meniscectomy. The patient was a 20-year-old male, and he was having a medial meniscal injury, posterior horn, grade 3. And he was undergoing rehabilitation for the last couple of months, but the pain was persisting. So he had the repeat MRI. It shows that the meniscal injury was deteriorating and it was grade 3, and it was causing a lot of problem to him. He was having problem in squatting, and after a couple of matches, he was getting tired with the posterior knee pain, and it was troubling him. So we did a partial meniscectomy and the balancing of the meniscus along with the debridement. And what the findings was that in most of the wrestlers at a young age, there is the cartilage of the femur and the tibia, it gets eroded because of the push-ups and the weight training they are going through, and most of the twisting and turning movement. The meniscus, which is there, it gets pinched and it gets worn out. So the articular cartilage it gets damaged and that causes an early osteoarthritis. So you will find most of the wrestlers at say at 40 years or 45 years with a band knee. They walk like this and they have the varus deformities of the bilateral knee and they have pain while they are squatting and sitting. So that is the reason because of the stress and the micro trauma which occurs every time to the cartilage and to the meniscus, and it leads to deterioration in the joint surface and the joint space, which ultimately leads to the osteoarthritis at a later age. So most of the surgeries which I am doing is meniscectomies, meniscectomy and their repair, anterior cruciate ligament reconstruction, posterior cruciate ligament reconstruction, and the rotator cuff repair in the shoulders.
You do surgeries in the shoulder too?
Yeah, in the shoulders too,
Yeah.
but mostly I'm doing the knee surgeries.
Knee
Yeah,
surgery.
yeah.
When you do the knee surgery from a ACL injury, what's the type of graft you prefer to use?
So I'm using hamstring graft.
Hamstring?
Yeah, hamstring graft. So
And how?
earlier, initially, the people they used to do the patellar bone tendon graft, but then
Yeah.
they have a defect in the patella, and that causes the further problems in the rehabilitation. And they have because if you are taking the bone of the chunk of the patella, there are studies which shows that yes, hamstring graft they are far better than the patellar tendon bone graft. So I'm using the hamstrings.
And what's your experience with the re-injury after the first surgery?
So I have seen a couple of wrestlers where the incidence of re-injury after ACL reconstructions they are more, and I have seen a couple of wrestlers where they have undergone repetitive ACL surgeries, and theoretically, yeah, it's clear that once the patient has sustained an ACL injury, the proprioception decreases because the ACL ligaments they have the proprioceptor receptors which causes the proprioception and the balancing and everything. So the chances of re-injuries they are more, and there are many papers which suggest that once the ACL repair is done, then the re-injury they are more. And further, it depends on how you reconstruct the ACL. If it is too tight, then it will cause difficulty in the movement. If it is too lax, then there will be movement there. So in both cases, there will be deterioration in the joint. And surprisingly, I have seen a couple of wrestlers, and they have ACL injuries for a couple of years, and there is no instability because they have good quadriceps muscles, good hamstrings, and there is no laxity. And surprisingly, they are even doing the wrestling. So it depends entirely on how stable is the knee joint.
Yeah.
But obviously, the chances of the re-injury they are more after ACL reconstruction.
How is the rehab after the surgery?
Yeah, rehab is quite prolonged, and usually when if they have to get back to the wrestling, usually it takes 6 to 9 months, depending on how the rehabilitation status is there. Usually, in my patients, when they have got an ACL injuries, I ask them to make up their mind if they want to go for a ACL reconstruction, and I tell them that my preferred choice is using the hamstring graft. So I usually prefer them that they should do physiotherapy prior to surgery also, so that they have good quadriceps muscles, they have a good hamstring muscles. Because usually you will find once there is an injury to the ACL ligament, the quadriceps and the hamstrings, the thigh muscle gut, there is wasting of the thigh muscle, and you will find it is quite significant. So if they are doing physiotherapy, the quadriceps and the hamstring muscles, immediately they start doing the muscle building and the injury, the physiotherapy immediately after. They can plan it after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but the rehabilitation is better in those patients comparative to those patients who, after the knee injury, they just immobilize their knee and they don't do any physiotherapy. So it entirely depends on
And no
how.
surgery. They just immobilize.
they just immobilize and then they plan after a few months or a few weeks that, okay, I have to go for a surgery. So
Okay.
the rehabilitation is prolonged in those patients comparative to those patients who are active from the day one of the injury. They start
Yeah.
mobilizing their knee and they start building their quadriceps and hamstring. So the early mobilization has good outcome rather than those patients who immobilize their knee for a couple of weeks or month and they present with a stiff knee and then the physiotherapy is prolonged in those patients. If you are, if I am given a knee with a full range of motion, then the result they are better after racial reconstruction. So it is always better that just immediately after the surgery, you put the patient into rehab, eye saying, and then the range of motion so that the range of motion is complete.
In India, how it works for the athlete, for the patients? He go to the hospital by his money, or they have an insurance, or a healthcare, a public healthcare.
Uh, majority
How it?
of majority of the athletes in India or the wrestlers, they go to the private hospitals and they get it done of their own pocket because right now in India, I don't think more than 20% of the people they have the health insurance with them. So
20%?
yeah, most of the people they don't have health insurance here, so they go from their own pocket and it is out of their own pocket that get it done. But if the patient is, at a national level and the Sports Authority of India, then they take care of the national level or the international player, and then they pay for those patients. But most of the patients who are just grooming, who are the young ones, and who are not just recognized at the national or international level, they have to pay from their own pocket, and it
And
is expensive.
how much it cost a knee surgery for a ACL reconstruction?
If I say in American dollars, then the
Yeah,
surgery is cheap as 1,000 US dollar to 4 or 5,000 US dollar. That's it.
1 to 5,000.
Yeah, 1,000
That's
US dollar to 5,000 US dollar.
five
And
thousand is the most expensive surgery.
yeah, most actually
Yeah.
in a very good setup, very beautiful and nice setup. But in a local setup, in the rural setup, or in a small hospital, we can get it done for $1,000, and with a Smith and Nephew bio screw and the endo button.
And how long it takes to the athlete to get to the doctor after he have the injury?
So it
It take
depends on.
a long days, or they go right away.
So, so usually what happens, initially it is not the doctors who is the first contact. Because if he is with the team, then it is usually mostly it is the physio. So first they go to the physio and it is up to the physio if they diagnose it very well or not. But usually it takes time because initially they give them the rest and because they don't anticipate that it is an ACL injury. And it is after a couple of days or a week then that they send it, or they send the patient for an MRI, or they send the patient to the doctor, and then it is diagnosed as an ACL. So it is not at just immediately until the patient hears a sound of the popping sound, or he hears a sound of clicking sound by himself that okay, something just popped, or I heard a sound from my knee. So then it is they are sure that okay, something broke. So then they go to radiologists themselves and ask for an MRI. But usually it takes a couple of weeks uh, until they reach to me or any orthopedic surgeon on average.
And they do the preoperative physiotherapy.
Mostly, the pre-operative physiotherapy is not here, mostly. But where the centers, they are well equipped and the patients, they are well aware if they have the money or they are associated with the national camp or some company is sponsoring them, then they have the physio and then they have protocol that, okay, we are planning it because usually I don't prefer going for the surgery within 1 month. I usually go for surgery after 1 month of the injury. So, and in the meantime, I asked my physio that, okay, you just do the range of motion exercises. I just want a proper supple knee with good range of motion exercises. So I usually prefer my patient to send to my physio so that he can rehabilitate or he can just, do a basic range of motion exercises or he can rehabilitate the patient for 1 month or for a couple of weeks until I am ready or the patient is ready for the surgery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Let me just say in Portuguese.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bom, pessoal, ali, né, perguntei um pouco a respeito, né, de qual cirurgia, né, o que ele faz mais frequentemente. Então, ele faz mais cirurgias de joelho, mas ele faz algumas cirurgias de ombro também. Cirurgias de joelho, né, pensando no atleta de wrestling, ele faz muitas cirurgias de menisco, muitas menissectomias e as reconstruções de ligamento, né, principalmente de LCA. E aí eu perguntei qual tipo de enxerto, né, que ele prefere de usar, que ele gosta de usar nas cirurgias dele. Ele falou que prefere usar o de isquios, né, de flexores, que eles já passaram, né, por aquela fase também de usar bastante o enxerto do tendão patelar, mas foram vendo que talvez não é a melhor opção, então eles têm usado atualmente tendão de flexores. E conversei como é que seria também a questão, né, como que o atleta chega, né, no médico, como que ele chega na área da saúde lá. Ele falou que menos de 20% dos indianos têm algum tipo de plano de saúde, né, que a realidade da maioria da população lá é não ter esse tipo de plano e não ter também dinheiro, né, para fazer um particular, e que os atletas, na maioria das vezes, acabam pagando do próprio bolso a cirurgia, né, e a cirurgia varia ali de $1.000 até $5.000, né, pensando em dólares americanos ali, ele fez um comparativo, né, da moeda deles. E perguntei também sobre a reabilitação, sobre a fisioterapia, né? Então ele falou que normalmente, como que acontece? Isso é uma coisa que eu até fiquei feliz, né? Falou que normalmente quem faz o primeiro atendimento, nesses casos, né, dos atletas, é o fisioterapeuta, né? O fisioterapeuta vai ter mais contato com o atleta, então normalmente ele que identifica primeiro a lesão de LCA, para aí sim estar encaminhando ali para o médico ortopedista, para realmente estar avaliando a questão, né, se vai operar ou não. E aí uma coisa também legal que ele falou, né, que sobre a questão das cirurgias, é que eles, né, compararam os atletas lá, o pessoal que costuma fazer a cirurgia e aí fica imobilizado, né, usando aquelas talas, aqueles braces, né, ou aquelas polainas, né, depende aí de onde que você está, como é que você chama. Isso era uma coisa muito comum que eu também via, né, há 15 anos atrás, quando eu ainda estudava fisioterapia aqui no Brasil, era bem comum a gente ver o cara operar de LCA e ficar com a perna imobilizada com uma tala em extensão por 2 semanas até 4 semanas. Então, ele fala que lá na Índia eles foram observando que o atleta, né, o paciente que ficava imobilizado, tinha um tratamento muito mais prolongado, tinha um retorno ao esporte muito mais lento. E o atleta que já era, né, desde o dia primeiro, já começava uma mobilização mais ativa ali, né, já começava a ter uma ativação da musculatura, principalmente quadríceps, tinha uma reabilitação mais precoce. Joginder, and what you want to know about the Brazil, what you want to ask me, let's change informations.
So, what I want to know from you is that how you deal with the injuries which are there in the contact sports. I guess wrestling is not as famous as it is here, but still, any contact sports, whether it is a rugby or it is, kabaddi is still not there, or the wrestling, or in any other contact sports. How you deal with it? Because here in India also, it is basically the physio who deals with the injuries first, and we don't have a system because I have seen in Brazil, in US, in UK, they have a system. The physio is the first contact in any sports or for any player. And they have a well-organized system that, okay, they will first examine and they will do the first aid and then they examine the patient. And they have a diagnosis before they send the patient to the orthopedic surgeon. In our scenario, it is not like that. Usually, they don't have a diagnosis. They suspect something and then they try to cure it by themselves. And then when it is not done, then they send the athletes to us. And it has both positive effects and the negative effects also. The positive effect is our burden is obviously decreased because if every minor injuries they keep coming to us, then we will be overburdened and then most of the surgical time it will be lost. So this is the advantage. And the disadvantage is that there are some injuries, like I've seen people, the wrestlers, they come to me and when they are doing the bench press, and when they are doing a lot of weights, the pectoral major muscles, it gets ruptured. And, if there is an injury to the pectoral muscle injury, then it has to be operated immediately if there is a major tear. If it is a minor tear, it's okay. Then you can keep the limb like this, and then you can just keep going. But if it is a major trauma, then it has to be operated. But the precious time is lost if they diagnose it something different or just a soft tissue injury, and if they don't know the severity of the injury, how severe it can be. So they are the both positive and the negative aspects also. So what I want to know is how you deal with and what is your scenario, that how you make sure that, okay, now the patient needs to go to an orthopedic surgeon, or I need to refer it to someone else. So what is the scenario over there?
Yeah, here in Brazil, it's kind of like that. For example, in the club, in the Minas Tennis Club where I work with judokas, most of the time, the physio is near the athletes in the training, in the trips, in the competitions, and the doctor not the every time, the full time with us. So when happen an injury, most of the time I'm the first one to go and do the first aid, the first evaluation, the first screen. So I have to know, I have to be able to identify severe injuries from the others. So I can decide to send to a doctor, to send to a hospital for a X-ray or other exams. So you how do I say? We learn it from the time studying, of course, doing courses, doing qualifications, but it's in the practice. Like you say, I work with rugby here. Rugby to me is the most contact sports, most powerful in everything. So rugby is a school of injuries to me. I learn a lot. So we do the first aid, the first screening. In the trips, the doctor not always with me, so I have to do some decisions that in my hand. So we learn it from the time working.
Okay.
But when I am in the club, when I'm in the club and the doctor is with me, I can ask him to go to the mat, to the field, to do the first evaluation, the first aid in the athlete. But not always is like that.
So, are you associated with some orthopedic surgeons or the doctors or the team doctors whom you refer your patients to, that, okay, now you need to go to visit to them, or do you call them that, okay, I have such and such patients and he has sustained these injuries? Because usually what happens, my physio, he gives me a call after a couple of days that, okay, there's a wrestler with this problem and I have done this, and this. I've given him rice, I have given him physio, I have given him ultrasonic therapy, and I have given him some paracetamol and analgesics, and he is not responding. So he gives me a brief history, and then he sends refers the patient to me. So this is usually what happens in my scenario. But most of those patients, they are the wrestlers from the national camp, or uh, uh, what you call that, they are from some club. But most of the injuries, they are not always all from the clubs. There are people who are practicing at their own club, they are practicing at their own, so they also sustain injuries, and they usually don't go to physio. They will go to some doctors or some quack, even they go to quack, a bone setter. Maybe you have a chiropractor over there. We don't have chiropractors here, but they do go to some local quacks or the chiropractors. They believe that, okay, he will just manipulate something, and even the ACL, it will get unite. But ACL, once if it is ruptured, it is ruptured. It won't unite. So, but they have the belief, okay, it will get united. So they will go to some bone setter, and after a couple of weeks or months, then they will go to some doctors. Okay, see, this is the problem, and it is not being relieved. So in my scenario, usually it happens, uh, but But I have seen that because I'm associated with the wrestling team for the last couple of years, for the last 4 5 years. But before that, I don't think there were any doctors. So it was only physio who used to treat them by his own skills, by reading, or by maybe by, as you say, by seminars or by his own experience. But then, once you are dealing with a national player or international elite player, then it is not just assumptions because it means a lot to the player.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so because at the end of the day, he will blame you that, okay, this was the injury and this was the outcome. So you should have done this. So even for me, because I am doing a lot of knee surgeries, not that amount of shoulder surgeries, but if there is something different, because I'm not doing spine. So if they have some disc problem or there's some protrusion of the disc which is causing radiculopathy, numbness, tingling sensation in the limbs, so I usually refer them to some spine surgeon who is usually my friend or he is doing more of spine surgeries. So, it is basically a teamwork. And sometimes it happens that they have injuries, but still the coach will come to me and say, oh, see, doc, there is a major tournament and he has to play this. So, and with the injury, they go and play, and then the injury, it gets severe. So, and because for them, they have been trying and they have been practicing for that one game and for the last 1 year. And just before the tournament, somehow most of the players, they get injured. So they used to compete in that because they have waited and they have practiced for 1 year. So they will come to me, okay, give us some analgesic injection, give them some local anesthetics so that it is numb and then we can go and play. So we have to work in different scenarios. If we think from their perspective, they are right that, okay, they have been practicing for this moment for the last couple of years, they have been training hard, and right at the time, if they get injured, then they feel like they go into a psychosis. It's a difficult situation for them that, okay, now they have to wait for another 1 year, they have to go for a rehabilitation or something kind of that, and they are not sure whether after 1 year they will be back into game with the same strength or not. So usually it
And
happens.
that's the same problem we have here. It's the time.
Yeah.
The
It is
athlete
time.
must came to us when is
Yeah.
missing 2 days, 1 day for the competition, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to do a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
We never
Yeah.
have time to deal with the injury like
Mm-hmm.
they should be.
Mm-hmm.
Now we never have the real time for the rehab to do
Mm-hmm.
the tissue to get healed.
Yeah. Because they
Yeah,
get
that's
injured. Yeah. Yeah. That is the same story. Because if they have hamstring injuries, then there is a proper rehabilitation for hamstring injuries. If it's a grade one, at least you need a 1 week rest. If there's a grade two injury, you need 2 to 3 weeks rest. If it's a grade three injury, it has to be at least a 6 weeks rest. But they have to get back to the game, and they have a major competition. If they don't participate, they have financial loss. They have got a different sort of a loss. So they need to go back. So they will ask us, okay, just give us some steroid injection. And what I have seen, most of the even the aspirants, they will ask doctors to give them a local steroid at the hamstring injuries. And believe me, when you give a steroid injection at a muscle injury or a tendon, the chances of a rupture or injury they are more after local steroid injection.
yeah,
So
that's not very good for the tendon.
yeah, but
Neither
usually they
neither neither the
but
muscle.
yeah, but usually they come and they because that competition is very precious and from different scenario. If they win a medal, they might get a job. That is very important. If they get a job, then they are all settled for whole life. And if they get a medal, maybe some company will sponsor them. Maybe some club will hire them. So it matters a lot to them. So
But
from
you,
their
but
stuff,
uh, but you mean a medal in an Olympic game or other competition?
Olympic game is very very big because if someone wins a medal in Olympic games, the Indian government they gives them enormous amount of money.
The
Enormous
government?
amount. Yeah, the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't believe. I guess,
Oh,
yeah, Indian government they will give them. They pay the maximum. Maximum. If
here
you win
here in Brazil,
one,
the government do the most. Oh, congrats, and
no,
only
no,
it,
no, no, no.
nothing
They,
else.
no. It is in like it is nearly $6 million here. The people they get in millions if they get one medal.
Oh, I go to India and became and
Yeah,
change my nationality.
yeah. Maybe you can come to India and then maybe you can because you can even practice MMA here because the people they are not. I haven't seen anyone here in martial arts here. Yeah, people they are doing it, but they are not in that abundance. There is not in that much quantity.
You mean physio in martial arts or?
Yeah, not in martial arts, both in physio in martial arts and even in the martial arts. They are. It is not that common in India because
Yeah.
the craze in India is of cricket, then wrestling, because it is all money driven. So there is a lot of money in cricket, there's a lot of money in wrestling, but there is no money in judo, martial arts, boxing. It is not
Boxing,
that much. No, it is not that money.
And what about mixed martial arts there?
Yeah, because
Exists?
in India, it is people they are doing it, but it is upcoming. It is not that is well established, and it doesn't have money. So that's what I'm saying. People they choose those games which have a lot of potential or money. So MMA, mixed martial arts, they don't have the much money here in India until they go professional. But if they have to go professional, then someone have to hire them.
So the sport number one in India, cricket,
Cricket.
and then wrestling too,
Yeah, with money wise, it is wrestling
and the
because
third one.
in wrestling, Indians they have won more medals in the Olympics compared to any other games.
And what's the third sport?
Third sport, I don't think for which is a sport. It is very tough because the rest of all the games there, it is hockey usually. Sorry.
In Brazil, I can say, of course, football,
Football, and football.
soccer number one. I think volleyball number two, and I put number three martial arts in general.
Yes.
In number three, my opinion. I think other people in Brazil will disagree. Will say another sports, swimming, basketball. But in my opinion, I see martial arts in Brazil is very, very big. Is growing in the last 100 years since Conde Coma came to Brazil and let the jiu-jitsu became Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It goes to Vale Tudo, MMA, and never stops and never will. I think. I hope so.
In India, it is the hockey, which is the national game, and we
It's
have
the grass
won.
hockey in grass.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
AstroTurf now. It is AstroTurf, but it was grass hockey, and we used to be Olympic champions for long, but in the last couple of years, we are not doing that much in good in hockey because now everyone wants to play cricket because it has got money. So lots of money, lots of money. You can't even imagine how much money the people or the cricket players they have in India.
How much a cricket player win by month in salary?
Oh, they have a capping. Like this is grade A player, B player, C player, or D player. Uh, they have what would I say? Let me tell you. I will tell you. It is in billions. Not. It is not even in millions. It is in billions of dollars. What they are earning.
How much? Billions?
Yeah, it is in billions.
Oh,
The
isso.
international players they have billions, not millions.
But in a season
It is
or in a month
yeah. The package is for the year. It is not
for
about season. It is for the entire year.
the entire year. So in one
Yeah.
year, he can get 1 billion.
Oh, and by the advertisement, they get more money. The commercial advertisements.
in Brazil, football player, high level, national championship here, he wins about $90,000 a month.
$90,000 a month.
A month. If we think a year, 1 million. $1 million, 1 year, 1 season.
But in India, the elite players, the cricket players, they are earning far more. They are in you can't even imagine. It is too much. It is too much.
And how much a wrestling fighter makes?
Yeah, the wrestlers, they make money by different criteria. They have a local competition where they can go and they can fight. It is like a mud wrestling or a soil wrestling, which you see the traditional wrestling. They keep happening everywhere. So you can go to some and then say, okay, yes, I'm in. I will compete. So you can go and compete, and you can win, say, even one, how much in rupees? I will tell you in dollars. So it will be like $60,000 you can earn by winning one competition.
One competition.
One competition.
If you be the champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is too much money.
But if you lose in the first fight, nothing.
No. So you will get in if you are first place, second place, third place, fourth, and fifth place. So even if you are at number 5, you will get something. But people, they go and watch, and then the local leaders, they will cheer up. Okay, yes, I will pay. I will put this much amount if he wins. So it is like okay, yes, this money is on this. This money is on this. So they get a lot of money.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Here in Brazil, the wrestling is not so famous, so practiced. We have a wrestling team, national team, but I think in the level of Olympics, they don't go very well. But Jiu-Jitsu is our best, I think. We have the best of the world, the best.
Yeah, I know. But I have seen even in the USA, the wrestling was not that good in USA a couple of years back. But now they have very good wrestling. And if I talk about the statistics, then Iran and Russia, they are the leading in the wrestling, male wrestling. And if we talk about female wrestling, it is Japan.
Japan?
Yeah, Japan, they have even in the Rio Olympics, they won 4 gold medals in women wrestling. So if it is about male wrestling, it is Iran and Russia who have more medals in international competitions. It is not India, it is not any other countries, but it is Iran, which is winning more medals in international, and they have a science. It is not like that. Most of the literature, if you search, they have so many papers on football. There are so many thousands of studies on football. If you go and search any injuries in football, you will get thousands of papers. But wrestling science, it is not that much studied. You won't find much literature about wrestling. But Iran, they are doing it, and they have done a lot of research in wrestling work. And
do you have access to these works?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. And recently now there is an association of International Association of Wrestling, yeah, INWR. So even you can be a member of it. Anyone can become a member, and then you get a free copy of the papers which are associated with the wrestling. Like,
oh, very nice. I want to be a part.
Yeah, so I will send you the link, and then maybe you can join it, and I will you give my reference, and then it will be easy for you to join it. And then you can get a subscription, an online subscription of all the literature or work of the wrestling. And you will find most of the papers very interesting because they are about how the prevention of the injuries, like how you can prevent the back injuries, how you can prevent the knee injuries. So it has both the prevention part and weight reduction is very important. Uh, when the sports is of in weight categories, so most of the wrestlers they have to either they have to gain some weight or to lose some weight before the competition. So, and if you lose weight just before a competition, then your strength it gets loose because you lose a lot of salt, you lose a lot of water. So now there is a criteria that how much weight you can lose and how it should be done. So there are a lot of interesting papers which should be,
Yeah,
everyone,
that's a problem in fighting sports.
yeah,
In MMA,
yeah,
in judo, they're doing a controlling, like
yeah,
a percentage of age. You have to do some age in the before day and the day of the competition.
yeah.
You have a percentage you cannot pass.
Yeah. And usually what happens? They dehydrate themselves. They wear those suits so that they can sweat more. But if they are
Yeah,
sweating more, then they their endurance is decreased. Their stamina is decreased. They will get tired easily. So there is a criteria that how you can go for a programmed weight reduction program so that you are not fatigued. Because if you do it a day before or a couple of days before, then you will get that, okay, you are fatigued, your muscles, they are not as good, and you feel tired. So it won't be easy to go and just have back-to-back bouts. So so they have a criteria, what sort of diet you should. So there is a sports nutrition, sports specific nutrition. So
yeah.
the wrestling diet is different, the cycling diet is different, the swimming diet is different. So all the marathon diet is different as compared to the wrestling diet. So when you combine all the components, the nutrition part, the physiotherapy part, the rehabilitation part, the psychological part, and then it is a teamwork which works for any team.
Okay. And you will participate to Tokyo
Yeah,
2021.
yeah,
You go?
yeah. I will be going it. I will be going. So I have applied for the volunteer program, but unfortunately it got postponed. So I will be doing it again, and then hopefully I will try to go. And even if I am not get the chance to volunteer, I will go of my own because it's one time. And hopefully you will be also going, or you will. What's your program?
For me, is a little more difficult to go. It's a very expensive trip.
Yeah, that is
To
one issue
That's a
because what?
problem
Yeah,
in
uh,
Brazil. We have to pay a lot of money in the
yeah, that is
tickets.
yeah that is the issue because at the time of the competition, even the flights are expensive, and even the accommodation it gets very costly. So either you have to book the accommodation or you know someone there who can make accommodation available for you because accommodation is very expensive as compared to the
Yeah,
flight tickets. Yeah. So maybe I have got some friends over there. If you have a plan and then maybe I just can coordinate with them so that we can arrange an accommodation over there.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're in the half of the way. you're you're more
Yeah.
close
Yeah.
to Japan than me.
Yeah. Obviously. Obviously.
I'm on the other side of the world. It's very very
Uh,
far away.
yeah. But even Brazil was very far away from me when I came to Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flight was for almost 18 hours, and I choose a longer flight. I don't know why. So my flight was from London to New York, and New York to Brazil.
Oh,
So yeah, because I booked my flights at maybe a couple of weeks before. It was expensive, and there was no direct flight. So I have to go from first London to New York, New York to Brazil. So it was a very long tour.
and that time you stay only in Rio.
Yeah, I was stayed only in Rio because I don't know why. Because I booked my tickets and I didn't expect that my experience will be so amazing there. I wish I would have stayed there for a couple of more weeks. because you don't plan it, because once you go there, then you feel okay, the people there are amazing, okay, and it's a nice place. Then you feel like you should have stayed more, but then
Yeah.
you have your back, then you have your return tickets, and then you feel like, oh. And even I was staying with I was staying in a family. They had their home renovated, and we were a couple of people. We were a couple of guys there, two from America, two from UK. I was from India. So there were 7 or 8 people, and we were staying together. So it was such a good, nice experience, and the family was so good. They were offering the breakfast, and then every evening they were serving us beer. And my experience staying in a family was so good. And if I have a chance to visit Brazil again, I would prefer to stay in a family rather than staying in a hotel.
Well, next time you can came to Belo Horizonte. It's my
uh,
hometown. You can stay in my house.
uh, sure, if I'm coming then, definitely I will be coming to you.
You're my guest here.
Yeah, yeah,
Anytime you
yeah,
want.
yeah. It will be my honor to stay with you, and then yeah, I keep seeing your pictures of your car and your puppy doggy, and then you go on surfing.
Oh, the
Yeah,
dog is right there.
yeah, yeah. It is
The
everywhere.
dog
It
is
is
right
everywhere.
there.
Yeah, it is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even I have 2 dogs, and but they are ferocious, so I can't take them out. So they are not that homely that they will just go and bite everyone. So I have got a bully dog, so it is ferocious. I can't just go and to take him anywhere.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Joginder, our time
Mm.
is ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So I want to thank you.
Mm.
Thank you very much for the accept the to
Yeah,
do a part of this live.
it was my pleasure, and maybe next time we will do more sessions, and then maybe we can just choose one topic so that we can discuss, like um, uh, being a physio, you know more that what type of injuries are there, like hamstring injuries. We can have one discussion in hamstring injuries, how we can do or rehabilitate, and then we can connect with some more physios and doctors on, and then we can discuss, okay, what is the
Oh yeah.
protocol. So we can choose one topic, and maybe we can discuss it every week. But if we know the topic before, so we can just post it there so that concerned people, they can come and discuss the panel. So it will be a discussion sort of thing, and maybe more people, they can come and join us. So
No, of
maybe
course. Very nice.
yeah, so maybe we can go with the one topic or one region, like we can go for shoulder injuries in one session, maybe the knee injuries in one session, maybe the ankle injuries. And to be more specific, you can go for with a specific injury, which is more common. So maybe you can come up with your ideas, what type of injuries you come across, and then maybe you can discuss those injuries, different, or maybe like what should be done, like if we have any injury or knee injuries in the field, what should we do? So maybe we can just formulate a sort of a few topics, and then maybe we can discuss that. That will be from, because if we discuss like, okay, now this was a very good interactive session of how we perceive things, and what are the things and in your country and my country. So it is more of a sort of understanding the scenarios in 2 different parts of the world. That is
Yeah.
quite nice, and more or less it is the same. It is the same. We have a different perspective of the game. We follow, the passion is after the money, and after something, and you have a different game. But the scenario of the physio and the doctor is almost the same. Uh,
Yeah. So
at the end
that
of the day, at the end of the day, it is the player who earns the money, not the physio and the doctor.
oh that's
Yeah,
the same in every country.
yeah, it is the same in every country.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
but
mas,
but but
but let's do this. It's a great idea.
yeah,
I will talk about with the team,
maybe,
the physios and
yeah,
the doctors I work
yeah,
with.
yeah,
So the time is almost done.
yeah,
So thank you very much again.
yeah, yeah. It's
Hope
my
to see
pleasure.
you
Thanks to you
again.
too. Yeah, sure.
And I will go to India. And
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
yeah,
So
I will go
yeah,
there.
yeah. So I was planning for your trip so that you can come here and you can have a session. I had a word
Oh,
with a few of my physio.